Most people, okay, are taught how to make money from their parents or their teachers. Now, are your parents rich? Okay. Are your parents rich? Middle class, so they're not rich, okay? My parents were poor, okay? So guess what they were teaching me? Rich things or poor things? Poor things. You learn from your people. If your parents are poor, they ain't teaching you nothing rich. They're gonna teach you the same things that what they know. Now, are your grandparents rich? Grandparents rich? Exactly. So guess what they were taught? Same fucking shit. Unless someone, like yourself, decides to change that cycle, it ain't gonna fucking change. So most people are taught how to be poor. Okay? Now in the poor side, okay, I don't know if you read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. You ever read that book or no? Okay. There's a book where Robert Kiyosaki talks about how his rich dad, which was his father's friend, who owned a lot of buildings, who owned a lot of real estate, okay? And then he had his poor dad, who was his real father, who was the superintendent of the Hawaii school, okay? So he was a high position, but he was still considered poor. And I want to explain to you how and why. So most people, how do they make money in America or anywhere in the world? A job, right? You have to be an employee. That's what E stands for. E stands for employee. So what is the problem with being an employee? What's the biggest problem most people have?
They're not gonna be
Correct. There's a ceiling on how much you can make, right? The reason why is because there's a ceiling on how you get paid. For example, you get paid on the amount of time that you put to the business. So if you put 20 hours in a week, guess how much you're going to get? 20 hours of pay. You're not going to get paid 50 hours a week if you only work 20. If you work 50 hours a week, you're only going to get paid for what? 50 hours. So the problem with this is that what? There's not enough time, right? How much time do you have in a week? 160 plus hours. And you got to sleep, you got to shit, you got to have a girlfriend, you got to have family, you got to go to the bathroom. So the most you can fucking work, and I've seen is possible, maybe 100 hours. But guess what? Every Monday, you got to go back to what? Go back to work. And even if you get paid per hour, the problem is, yeah, you may get paid $10, $20, $50, $100 an hour. The problem is this: you're still putting in your time. If you show up to work, you make money. You don't show up to work, you don't get money. Now, yes, you may have some sick pay, some vacation, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, you cannot take 7 months off and get paid. Make sense? True or not true? Okay? So that's the problem with an employee. You're limited to how much money you can make based on your time. Okay? Now, you may say, Michael, I'm gonna be a business owner. I'm gonna be smarter than that. I'm gonna open up my own store. I'm gonna open up a bodega. I'm gonna open up a laundromat. I'm gonna open up a car dealership. I'm gonna open up a business. I'm gonna open up an online store. Whatever the case may be. The problem with that is what? You're self-employed, small business owner. You're still what? It's all based on fucking you. For example, all these fucking people on Instagram, I made this much money. Or these 25-year-olds or 10-year-olds, whatever they say. I make all this money on dropshipping. Okay, great. You had to put that fucking time in to make that money. How much effort did you put to make that money? Make sense? Now, can you scale it and make it bigger? Absolutely. But as a small business owner, as a bodega owner, you are not going to be rich. Why is that? Because it's still based on what? You, man. If you don't show up, you don't make money. Can you leave your business for more than 3 months? No. Okay? Does that make sense? That's the problem with most businesses. It's all about you. It's all required about you. And guess what? You're not going to teach your secrets to your employees because guess what? They're going to become your competition. So now you're fucking stuck in your business for the rest of your life. And yes, you're middle class. You make money. A lot of our Jewish friends in New York, they make a lot of money. They own a 47th Street store, but they can never leave their business because they have to show up every fucking day. You may be a great barbershop, great business. You may have 3-4 locations. The problem is this. If you have to be there, it is what? Not self-sufficient. It's based on fucking you. Does that make sense? So over here, you can make a lot of money. Problem is you have what? No time, papa. So you have no life. Make sense? So that's the problem with the poor side. Everything depends on you. Everything depends on you. Everything depends on you. And everything depends on you means that you have no fucking life. What's the point of having $1 million in your pocket or $1 million income if you can't even spend it with the people that you care about? Does that make sense? So to become rich, you have to think about big business, okay? And big business is all about 2 things. It's about people and it's about systems. The 2 most fundamental things that you need to become rich is to have people working with you or for you, depending on what kind of model you have, and you must have proper systems. So for example, if you have a team, like for example, if I have a team in New York and I have teams in New Jersey, and I'm physically not there to create that income. Because I have what? People, and I have proper systems to keep everything in check. That gives me what? X factor. I can stay in Miami and still make money. Does that make sense? Does that make me special? No. It just shows you that you can do it only if you have people and systems. So most people are taught this stuff. Nobody teaches us how to think like a rich person. You see, a rich person thinks about duplication. A rich person thinks about multiplying his time. You know how many hours I put last week into my business? Me physically, maybe 30, 40 hours, right? Because I'm still building my business. I want to make it bigger. But do you know how much hours went into my business? Thousands. Think about it this way. If you have 100 people that are in your business and they all worked 30 hours, let's say they're all lazy, they work 30 hours. I put 3,000 hours into my business last week. Make sense? Can you do that over here? Can you do that over here? No way. Now, let's say, for example, last week I got sick and I wanted to stay home and not do anything. Let's say I put 30 hours also. What would it be? 2,970 hours still went into my business. Make sense? And that's just showing you an example. The point about this is that it's called X factor. You are not required to be involved in the day-to-day actions of the business to become profitable. Does that make sense? Because if everything depends on you, you're poor as fuck. You maybe have a lot of money, but you're poor in time. I want to be rich in time and I want to be rich in money. That's why I don't pay attention to a lot of people's opinions. Because 98% of people, guess where they're at? They're poor. I only listen to my rich friends. I have mentors that make millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. People that sold companies for billions of dollars. Those are the people that I listen to. If they have not done what I want done or what I want to do, I do not listen. I don't care. I didn't care when my friends laughed at me that I had a table set up on the corner in New York and all my friends were laughing at me. Oh, when they were driving by with their nice BMWs looking at me and smiling and making fun of me. I didn't care because I knew what I was doing. I was preparing myself to be in this position. Does that make sense? So are you okay with your friends and family laughing at you in the beginning? Who gives a fuck? I personally don't give a shit. I'd rather be rich, let them fucking laugh. That's how I am. But the reason why 98% of people are still here is because they're so fucking worried about what their mother thinks, about what their grandfather thinks, about what their fucking cousin Joey thinks. And if you worry about what other people think, you'll live just like them. I always say this to my guys in New York and New Jersey. You buy their opinion, you buy their lifestyle. Make sense? So I'm very, very, very careful who I listen to. Very careful. I don't listen to a lot of people. I may be arrogant, but I don't listen to a lot of people because their ideas come from here. Does that make sense? Now, when you start making a lot of money, right, because your business is producing a lot of income, you start making a lot of money because your time is not required, now you can start doing what? Investing. For example, real estate, stocks, bonds, businesses, whatever you feel like you want to do, okay? But most people, you know what they do? They're an employee. They made an extra $5,000 bonus that year and they start investing too early. Stupid. Stupid. Be patient. There's a time and place to start investing. You know how many, I have a friend of mine who owns a hedge fund company, right? Very successful. He's in New Jersey. And every couple of months, he shows me an idea to invest in companies. And these are great companies. But I decided to be patient because I said, you know what? I don't know anything about this business. I'm not investing my time and money. If I don't know anything about it, I'm not putting my money into that dirty pit. And a lot of people, for example, I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, Bitcoin. Last week was this coin. Next month is this. Next month is that. It's always gonna be some fucking shit. Something is called the golden banana, I call it. Every fucking monkey out there is running around the golden banana. Make sense? You don't wanna stop chasing the shiny objects. Okay? Focus.